Hello, I'm Johnny and welcome to the Ginger Geek Show. So today I want to talk about Bond 26, specifically my wish list of what I want to see. It's always a very exciting time, the kind of lead up to announcement of a new Bond. When I was growing up, the only one I kind of really had was seeing Daniel Craig, and it was very exciting. I still remember seeing it for the first time, seeing Daniel Craig coming along the Thames, people complaining why, you know, he's a normal human being, he has to wear a life jacket. It was all fun times. So naturally, it's quite exciting this time, even more so, because I love Bond more than I did back then, way back in, God, what was 2005 Daniel Craig was announced, so more so than ever I'm extremely excited to see the kind of future, who's the Bond actor and who's the director. Some of us kind of feel like they might announce something when it's the James Bond day up in, I want to say it's the 5th of October this year it'll be, so maybe we might get something, at least maybe the actor and maybe the director. I think we could maybe get something, who knows. But for today, I'm going to talk about, you know, from literally the title to locations. I want to just kind of give it my thoughts and opinions on what I would like to see in Bond 26. So it's just simply a little bit of a fun video, and as I'll say at the end, I would like to know what you guys, you know, especially want to see, you know, your kind of picks of what you'd like to see. So let's begin, shall we, on my Bond 26 wish list. Now, first of all, I want to talk about the behind the scenes. As much as I love Michael G. Wilson, I do think it's time for him to retire. I think he's done great with the Bond community. I just think it's maybe time to kind of step down. You know, he's a good age now, and I just think it'd be a good way, especially for a new era, to bring in someone new. Who should that be? I think that should be Greg Wilson. He's been quite involved since, I want to say, maybe Quantum into Skyfall. He's been very much involved. He's even doing more and more interviews, even more sometimes than Michael G. Wilson, when it's like those kind of, when they do like celebrational stuff, or kind of, there's a new car to show off. We're seeing a lot more of Greg, yeah, I must say. So I think it would be a good way for a new era to have, it'll be Barbara Broccoli, more the kind of Michael G. Wilson, and Greg Wilson, the more kind of what Barbara was in the Daniel era, more kind of the front of it all, really. Maybe more, it's his kind of vision more of Bond. And I think it's needed, and I think it'll be, as I say, it'll be a good way to kind of, a good fresh start for this franchise. So that was the first thing I just wanted to talk about, is more the kind of behind the scenes. A wee bit of shifting, I think, is severely needed right now. So naturally, the first thing we should really talk about is the title. Now, the title, we've kind of went through most of all of the flaming titles. I do quite like Property of a Lady. I think that's quite a nice one. 007 in New York, no, that's I think that's a bit kind of, it's just like, so what's happening in this one? It's 007 New York. What does he do? He's in New York. So it's a bit kind of, it's not a title that you know, you have to kind of think about maybe, you know, because I still remember when Skyfall was announced and you were like, oh, what's this? You know, this hasn't been used before. This is quite interesting. Just don't do what they did with Spectre, where Edgar Wright gave away what's the big reveal of the movie. But for me, there's always been a title I've always loved to have seen, and I think, again, it can only really be kind of used, I think, for like a first Bond movie for a new actor, and that's Everything or Nothing. I adore this title. There is a little bit of history. We've obviously had a video game, we've obviously had the kind of documentary that we had, both actually really quite good. I actually really like that video game as well. And there's also been this kind of, it seems to be more of a myth that the Eon company stands for Everything or Nothing. Apparently that's not actually true. If you actually, I can't remember for the life of me where it came from, but there's a behind the scenes where Michael G. Wilson talks about it, where apparently he did ask Cubby, it was like, so is Everything or Nothing, is that what Eon means? And he's like, don't know what you're talking about, so who knows. But so there's always been, Everything or Nothing seems to have kind of just stuck, and I just think it's such a perfect Bond title. It kind of sums up Bond as well a little bit, because it's very much as he gives everything or nothing. Now on to the Bond actor, the main one here, frankly the one that you could easily have done a whole video on, but I've decided no. I think sometimes it gets a bit much with like so many of that, and I just thought, you know, at the end of the day, I still think it's going to be someone that none of us kind of know, and it'll be someone completely left field, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I completely trust them. They'll find, at the end of the day, a damn good actor, and that's all we need. My Bond pick, and it's been it for quite a good wee bit now, is Aaron Taylor-Johnson. I think this guy actually kind of ticks every box that I would quite like to see right now. He's the perfect age. He's a damn fine actor, you know, he's a good looking man if that's what you like. He's a good looking man there as well. You know, he looks great in a suit. He's good with comedy. He's great with action. He's very charming as well. Even recently, even seen him in that trailer for that Brad Pitt movie, which I forget. Is it? It's not called Bullet Train, is it? I can't remember what it's called. You know, he's like, for the moments he's at, like, he's managing to like hold his own against Brad Pitt. For God's sake, you're like. He's really good. I really liked him also. His really small role in the recent Kingsman movie. I thought he was really good in that. He's had a great mix of stuff, and I know some folk go, "Oh, what about Craven the Hunter? That might be a big role. Maybe, I don't know. I think that'll be kind of maybe one and done. I don't know, because I don't see anything more with Jared Leto with Morbius, if I'm completely honest. So I don't think that's going to be a huge full stop for him personally, and as I said, for some time I think he's pretty perfect for this role. On to the Bond women. Now, we've had obviously many different types of Bond women through the years, and I'm not really going to talk about what kind of type of Bond women I want, because I honestly don't really kind of know at this kind of point, but I know the actress that I definitely want, and she is easily my favourite actress going today. I think she's one of the best actresses going of her generation. I think she's one of the most beautiful women in the world going. She just ticks every single box. She has a mystique to her as well, but it's Anya Taylor-Joy. I absolutely adore this woman. I think she's just fantastic. As I say, she has like this mystique about her. You know, I know it sounds quite bad saying this, but you know, can I trust this woman? Is she going to break my heart? It's just like a mix I kind of have from her in good and bad ways. Like, as I say, like, I think you could do something really interesting and something different with getting someone like her. As I say, I genuinely believe she is one of the best actresses going of her generation. She is just fantastic and everything. And I still need to see The Northman, but I've heard really good things about that. I loved her Last Night in Soho. Thoroughbreds is really good. If you've not seen that, that's really good. There's some really solid stuff she's doing. She just ticks the full box for me of the concept of Bond women, and especially nowadays, what I think it needs to kind of be and what it needs to kind of represent. I think she would be perfect. Next up is the Bond villain. Very much similar to Anya, I think, what I'm going to kind of say here. Another one, I think he is one of the best that's going right now of his generation. It's a little bit of a tease who it is right now. He was in Doctor Who many years ago, if there's any Doctor Who fans watching right now, and it's kind of weird seeing him, just how big he's gotten, really. As I say, I think he's one of the finest actors going right now. He's constantly getting work, and I think he would be perfect as the Bond villain. Even to recently actually just said he would like to play a Bond villain, because somebody asked us, like, would you like to be Bond? And 9 times out of 10, most actors say, no, I would rather actually be the villain, because I think there's more to chew on when it comes to playing a villain. My pick for the Bond villain would be Daniel Kahlula. I think he is absolutely fantastic. I think he'll kind of bring, as again, something a bit kind of different and fresh, and he's an all-rounder, this guy. He can kind of do everything that you kind of want, and I think he would be something. Just looking at this cast right now, you know, you've Aaron, Anya and Daniel. That's a strong 3 right there of kind of that young talent that's going right now in their 30s, and they're rising more and more, and yeah, I want to see it so badly now. And next up is the Bond director. Now, there's been many names that's been thrown now. I know a lot of people want Christopher Nolan. I like Christopher Nolan, but I just feel like he wouldn't bring anything. I don't want to say anything new, because, like, look, Christopher Nolan is a fantastic director. There's no denying there isn't, but I just feel like it would kind of collapse on him a little bit, the concept of Bond. I don't know, because, like, I know he is a big fan. There's many references to Bond. Inception has a good On Her Majesty's Secret Service, where the third act is ripped from it. I remember Dark Knight has the Joker has the knife in the shoe. You know, there's many references in there, but I don't know. I'm not as Nolan goes on, I'm less liking some of his new stuff that's coming out. But there is a director who I think would be perfect, because for a couple of reasons. I think he would do something different, do something kind of fresh and something unique to the Bond kind of community, and I think we need something different to Daniel. Not too different, because I do think, you know, people clearly do like that more kind of serious Bond movies. I kind of prefer the kind of serious Bond movies in a long stretch, because I think when you look at it in a grander scheme, and if you had to pick out movies that are generally received well worldwide, it is the ones that are a bit more kind of taken a bit more serious. And I think for longevity, I think that kind of helps a bit better. But my Bond director is Edgar Wright. He's one of my favourite directors. I absolutely adore him. Anything that I really liked Last Night in Soho. I thought that was a really well made movie. I really liked that. But when you kind of combined, like, say, like the kind of Baby Driver kind of action and all that, and the kind of the charm of, you know, the Cornetto trilogy, you know, he loves cinema. He would be. I just think he would bring something kind of fresh and new to the table to Bond, and starting off a new era. And as I says, I think he would be the perfect choice. Next up is the singer slash the band that would play. And I'm going to say it right now, this is going to be something that's more, it's music that I like. I'm going to say right now, I've not been crazy about the Bond music for the last, well, 2 movies easily. Skyfall was tremendous. Like, it's fantastic. Adele did a fantastic song, but I just feel like since then they've just tried to replicate that, and every song has been so just downbeat and dreary, and it's like, I feel like they miss what the Bondian sound is. Like, I think they get too wrapped up in it should be all emotional, it should be all downbeat, and no, that's not just the case. I think it worked for Skyfall because that was, you know, it was its own thing, but keep doing that, and it just, I actually don't mind the Sam Smith song. I do not care for the Bill Eilish one. That song's an absolute bore. Every time I listen to it, I like it less and less, I think, to be honest. As I say, this is going to be something that's more, this is a personal choice, you know, everyone's going to have something different. I love the Churches, basically. I love Laura Mayberry. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I generally think she has one of the most underrated voices going today. What she can do, frankly, with it. I just think we need 2 different things. I'd like to see a band again. It's been a long time since we've seen a band in a Bond movie. But second of all, we need something a little bit more upbeat, and a bit more kind of, give me some of that Casino Royale again, that kind of music, and I think they would kind of give that a little bit more synth stuff, which I know Edgar Wright loves as well, so that would really fit with his kind of stuff. So I want something a bit more, something that I actually want to enjoy listening to, not something that I want to, you know, cry listening to. Yeah. Now, the next one I kind of want to talk about was the Felix Leiter. Now, this is someone that, you know, it's a character that's been, it's weird to think Felix Leiter's been played more than James Bond has, actually, when you look at it in the kind of grander scheme of it all. So it's a character that I do think has enough breathing space to kind of give your own interpretation, which I think kind of works with Felix a little bit better than, let's say, Bond. Bond's a little bit more strict, where you have to be certain things. So someone I think who would do a pretty damn good job. I'm going to say right now, I don't think he's as good of an actor as the 3 actors that I've previously mentioned, but I do think Scott Eastwood actually really ticks every box of what Felix is in the novels and in the comics as well that I've been kind of reading. You know, even to the way he looks is actually quite spitting off Felix, because when you really look at them, I don't think there's been one Felix that actually by rights looks like the Felix what he's described in the books, because I'm pretty sure he's like got blonde hair, long blonde hair and everything, and you know, he's kind of tall, skinny, kind of more so there's nothing really there. And ironically saying that, my favourite Felix is Jeffrey Wright so far, because I think he's just, at the end of the day, you give me a great actor, I don't really care what they're kind of looking like, to be honest. But I think Scott Eastwood would do a pretty damn good job in this. And I'm saying it right now, I do think he would be good with a kind of Felix spin-off as well. See, like the kind of the American point of view of the spy world. I think you could do something, you know, have it on Prime. It's more of just a Prime exclusive movie, or even a show. I think you could do something really fun with that. I do think some folk seem to get so scared of the idea of a shared universe with Bond, but nah, give it. If you don't like it, don't need to watch it. You know, give me more. That's what I say. Now, next up is the locations. Now, I've only got a couple here I'd quite like to see. 2 that we've never seen before. One, I'm going to say right now, is London. I think we're obviously going to see. I've always think like there should be a nice action sequence on the Shard. I feel like you could do something there, and I think it's a bit of a shame that they've not really utilised that. That's meant to be one of the biggest buildings in the world, and I find it weird that Bond's just not really kind of went, let's do something there. I think you could do something really quite unique and fun there. Now, I've got two other locations I'd quite like to see. One being Dubai. I always think that it looks beautiful. I think it would really work. I think it would look stunning on screen. I think you could do some really kind of fun stuff with that, especially with, and I'll talk about it in a second, is the kind of tone I want from this movie is a bit more kind of, a little bit light, but a little bit more kind of the not too distant future type Bond now. And I think somewhere like Dubai would really fit with the kind of tone I would quite like to see. I'll talk more about the tone in a second. Another location I'd like to see is Edinburgh. And I find it insane that we've never seen it. I had a conversation with Billy Bond's art on Instagram, and it was funny, we both like saying how it's crazy that Fast and Furious is had Edinburgh, but for some odd reason James Bond hasn't. And I'll never get that, and I don't really know why, because Edinburgh just, I know it sounds bad saying this a little bit, it is a lovely place, but it just has a spy feel to it. It has a bit of kind of mystique and a bit of kind of mystery and a bit of kind of oh, there's an alley there, and oh, it's down there. It's very brown, everything's very kind of got a kind of, as I say, it's mystique, which seems to be the word of the day. So it has a kind of feel to it, and I think it would very much work for James Bond. Now, the MI6 regulars are going to be quite quick here, what I'm going to say here. I'm not going to lie, I still want Ralph Fiennes as M, I still want Naomi Harris as Moneypenny, and I still want Ben Whishaw as Q. Maybe, I know it sounds bad saying this because I do like him, but maybe not bring back Rory Kinnear as Tanner. I think maybe time to kind of maybe keep that as a kind of, that was a Daniel Craig thing. Maybe bring in someone new, someone like a Martin Freeman. Maybe he would work as maybe a kind of a new Frederick Gray or something a bit kind of different there. I really like them, and I still just feel like they've just started off and they've really just kind of kicked off their version of their character. But I would like to see in the future, actually, Naomi Harris's Moneypenny taking over the M's role. I think that could be something quite interesting, something quite kind of different there, and actually quite nice character development for her. I think that could be quite something interesting. And lastly, I'm going to talk about is the tone. But right, when you think about it, it's the biggest thing really. When you think if that tone's not kind of spot on, I think this all falls flat really. Now I've kind of mentioned it already. The kind of tone I want, and obviously getting someone like Edgar Wright, you know, I'd want it a little bit lighter, but not too much. Not too much light. I actually think GoldenEye has the kind of perfect. I always think I think like the best way to kind of describe it, I think, is treat the plot serious but have fun with the story. I think that's kind of maybe the best way of kind of, you know, kind of putting it is, you know, the main structure is a very serious thing, but you're having fun kind of throughout it, you know, and I think that's the kind of best way to kind of maybe, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, who knows. Now, I think a good example of a good comparison of a movie I think is fantastic and is really, frankly, almost a really good Bond movie, is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I think this movie ticks off exactly what a Bond movie needs to be, and exactly what I've just kind of said. That movie, Brights, has a very serious plot, but it has a very kind of fun story that kind of goes, you know, through it. Now, when I say fun, it's not bloody, you know, it's not the laughs and jokes a second and all that. It's not, if anything, because I know a lot of people always say Marvel movies are just jokes. When you watch Winter Soldier, that's really damn bleak and serious, that movie, in comparison of, especially Thor: Love and Thunder that came out recently. So I think that movie is the best kind of use of how to do the tone, I think, for a new Bond movie. A Bond that's kind of not too distant future. He's a little bit kind of ahead, technology's a bit better and all that, and you know, I just have a little bit more kind of fun with it, really. So that's my pick for the Bond 26 wish list. I'd love to know what you guys think. Did you like this list or did you hate it? I'd love to know. I also like to know your pick as well. Tell me who you'd like to see, you know, directors, the actors, the villain, the singer, the band, you know. I'd love to know what you guys think. So yes, as usual, you can follow me on the Ginger Geek 92. You can do that on Instagram, you can do it on Twitter. I think that's gonna it. I do have TikTok now. I've got the TikTok, the Ginger. I think it's just the Ginger Geek Show. That one is called actually. So you can follow me on all those sort of stuff. So as always, it'll be great if you could like, share, and subscribe. That'd be fantastic indeed. More videos in the future. So until then, this is Brown, Johnny Brown, licensed to thrill. See you later.